Hey there. Although I am involved with CADAC, the Center of ADHD Awareness Canada, the views and opinions expressed in this episode are those of the participants and do not reflect those of CADAC. And now, cue the music.
This is the Impulsive Thinker Podcast, a show for high-achieving ADHD entrepreneurs. Together, we will inform and educate you about how to improve your self-awareness while developing systems, routines, and habits for conquering the entrepreneurial world. Here is your host, André Brisson.
Hey there, it's André for another short for the Impulsive Thinker Podcast. This episode is brought to you by CADAC, the Center of ADHD Awareness Canada. You can find them at www.caddac.ca. Right now, it's quite early. I'm waiting for one of my team members to meet up with me. We're about to head out to Toronto to train him on inspections for the engineering company. And instead of getting really early, come to the office, try to squeeze in a couple things before we get going, I decided to just lay in bed there. And an amazing. It's amazing what just came about in my mind. A realization. That was the word I was trying to find. And a lot of the skill, it had to be present to make this awareness, but it was still pretty cool. It had a lot to do with my DBT therapy I'm going through right now, the dialectical behavioral therapy, but a lot of the mindfulness meditation I'm doing. So anyways, I've had this song stuck in my head since probably yesterday about 2:00 in the afternoon. It just keeps playing in my head over and over and over. And this morning I woke up and I started to think about what I'm going to do and talk to a client of mine, just running a hypothetical conversation scenario. It's a tricky subject, so I'm running through that scenario, back and forth conversation, kind of like rehearsing the conversation, which I recommend is a really good tactic to do. Rehearse a difficult conversation before you actually go in, before the heat of the battle takes over and the impulsivity just takes over. But anyways, I was running through that. Then I realized the music that's been stuck in my head was playing in the background. Like, not a word of a lie. It was playing in the background as if it was a radio, and I was conscious of that. I was conscious of the conversation I was having, and I was conscious of that song. Then I decided to be a little more present. I'm still running that scenario. I'm probably through iteration 100 of the conversation or potential song playing. Then I realized I'm actually playing out my road plan, like how I'm going to drive through this winter weather. Certain areas have a specific, this is typically around the Drumbo area, it's slippery, just because the area, Kitchener, the construction, Guelph area's construction. So I'm running these three things all at the same time, and it's all making sense to me. I'm pretty sure if I went more deeper, I can find another 4 or 5 strings, but I just wanted to, I never realized that that's how my brain actually works. I knew about it theoretically. I've read about it, but it's amazing. You just pay attention to it. I was having that hypothetical conversation. The music was playing in the background, and I can hear every word, the music, as if it was on the radio. And I was playing it up my radio. Oh, no. And then the other thing, too, I was going to figure out exactly what I was going to do and how I was going to train my team member on inspections. So all of that is going in my head at the same time. And it's all making sense. It's all working. It's all, to a certain point, that's like an efficiency thing. I'm doing 4 things at once. I'm planning 4 things at once, and I do remember it. And I think that was a very cool insight and realization and observation of how my brain works, how the ADHD brain works, which non-ADHD people, I don't think, can ever understand or appreciate what goes in our head. Now, luckily, these are all productive, proactive things that were going on. A lot of times it's not negative ruminations. It's just, 100 mile an hour brain, 4 different paths in this case that I'm aware of. I'm pretty sure other things were going on, but that was a really cool insight. So now I challenge you, the listener, to just, try to just lay there. I was laying in the dark, closing my eyes, kind of, I guess, in a semi-meditative state, because I was during my early breathing. I was going to meditate, but then my mind took off on that. Then I realized I was having those 4 different paths at the same time, and I was conscious of all 4 paths. And just imagine when you're on a ramped up day, it's 100 paths, 150. How many paths can we do? Now it gives me a better appreciation how my brain can get overwhelmed very easy, because to try and keep track of all those things at the same time, it's fatiguing, mentally fatiguing. Anyways, I thought it was a really cool insight and realization on my part. And I thought I'd share about it, the 100-mile-an-hour brain, and actually seeing it. It just boggled my mind. It's really cool. Anything less. I don't know. It's almost as if I can't imagine people just having that one train of thought all the time and that's it. It almost seems like it's boring. But at the same time, at times, especially in the negative rumination stage, I kind of envy the people that can do that. But in the end, it's thrilling to see how my brain works, how to understand how it works. And that's, I think, get appreciation, how I can get a lot of things figured out, sorted out quickly, because our brains do work that way. And that's a gift we got to utilize, we got to harness and just take care of it. Because if we let it override, then we get into overwhelm, emotional dysregulation, impulsivity takes over, and then that becomes a disorder, right? But if we just harness that, manage it, be aware of all this stuff, try to keep our track at, under 50, that'd be good. Let me know what you think about this, and I challenge you to take a look and observe your brain in the morning or when you can just get in a calm state. See how many tracks that you do have. But it was really cool to have that music played in the background like it was a radio. It was really cool. Anyways, thanks again for listening. I do appreciate you giving me your time for listening. And I really hope that you're gaining a lot from this. And I will ask you to share and comment about this and share this with everyone that you know can be beneficial. ADHD people and non-ADHD people. Anyways, thanks again for listening. We'll talk to you soon. Take care.
Thank you for listening to the Impulsive Thinker podcast. If you have a question, comment, or suggestion for the show, please visit theimpulsivethinker.com. The Impulsive Thinker podcast is produced by Tactical Breakthroughs and hosted by André Brisson. Remember, ADHD is only a part of you, not all of you.